and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for joining me for another one of my videos. So today's video is for my business queens or kings, of course, and we're going to be talking all about what to expect when you start off with your life coaching. So the reason why I wanted to film this video is because my How to Be a Successful Life Coach video is probably one of my most watched videos, and I hear time and time again people find me through that video, so I thought it was about time, it's been a good year since that video, to do an updated video and to help any of you guys who maybe even haven't seen that video but follow my work to know what to expect when you start life coaching, if that's the path that you want to follow down also. And just another kind of topic I was kind of toying with talking about is, if you want to be of service, if you want to help people with your spirituality, with your talents, it doesn't just have to be life coaching. I hear a lot of the time people feel they have to go down that path because everyone's doing it, when actually there are so many different paths in your purpose that you can take to be of service, to help people, and to run your own business if that's what you want to do in your own unique way. So if life coaching is what you want to do, then this is a video for you. So I started life coaching, nearly 3 years ago now, good 2.5, 3 years ago, and that time has absolutely flown by. And for me, it is a full-time income as well as on top of everything else I do. So I do not just do life coaching, I have a whole brand, I do YouTube, I have an Instagram account which I'm very active on, I've got my own membership, I've got my own merchandise range. So there are a lot of things that I do under my umbrella as well as coaching. I also mentor 7 authors from my first book's publishers to help them birth their own books into life and help them along their author journey as well. So I have a very full plate. But obviously all of that's taken time to grow. All of that has taken time, and I had a really good conversation actually with one of my business clients yesterday, and she was saying, you forget, she's like, you see these people online, she said, especially like yourself, Emma, and other people who do all these things, have all these things, and you just think they woke up and it was there, and they just woke up and published it and woo, everything was a success. And I said, no, absolutely not. And we were actually talking about merchandise at that time, and I said, you have to be prepared to invest your money into that. You have to be able to store the stock somewhere in your house or your garage, and you have to be able to financially foot that investment as well. So I said, if you're not earning enough to actually facilitate that, this isn't the time to be launching your own merchandise range, because you need to be at a place where you're earning money and you're comfortable first. And that's what I really want to say to all of you if you are starting out, is you have all the time in the world. You do not have to be doing everything that I do or any other coach does from day one. And a big word that I am so passionate about in helping people in all areas of your life, not just business, is sustainability. And there is so much bull in this industry, and I am definitely a bull caller in terms of coaching, because it frustrates me so much to see this bull and for people to buy into the bull and then be disappointed when the bull is bull, because really it is. And one thing which I say to people is, I've run 2 businesses now, 2 successful businesses over the last 8 years of my life, and both took time. I did not wake up one day and all of a sudden so my first business, I didn't just wake up and have 500,000 followers. Absolutely not. That took me 2 to 3 years to grow. And I grew that in a time where social media was so different, and couponing and money saving was massive here in the UK. And it was a growing, I don't want to say trend, but a growing trend here in the UK, I guess. So for me, I got in on that business and created that business at the perfect time. Whereas if I was to replicate that business now, it would be a total different market. I probably still have great success because I know what I'm doing. But if I started it now, it would be totally different. And even with my new business, my Spiritual Queen business, it took time to transition that business. So it took me, I think it was 1.5 years. I would have left sooner, but obviously I was still trying to find a buyer for my first business. So really I had a good 1.5 years of dual incomes from my previous business and this business to merge into before I finally let go of extreme couponing and moved into my spiritual business full time. So I was really lucky in that sense. And even when I started my couponing business, I worked part-time as well in a clothes shop just while things were taking off. So absolutely do not put yourself in a financial position where you are trusting and believing that this money's going to come to you you know, do not be stupid. Like, it's perfectly okay to work full-time or part-time as you grow and transition this business. You need money to pay your bills, you need money to survive. Don't be stupid. Like, be realistic, because, you know, I'm all for believing, I'm all for law of attraction, I'm all here for manifesting. Absolutely, I live and breathe it. But really, you know, you've got to think about it. If you put yourself in a financial position where you're worrying and you're like, oh God, I really need this money, is that a vibration that's going to attract people to you? Is that a vibration where you are having fun and being of service? Or is that going to be a vibration where you're desperate and you're thinking, oh my God, I really need this money by the end of the month? So this is why I say, don't be stupid. Like, set yourself an exit plan. If you are currently employed somewhere else or have another business like I did, set yourself an exit plan, because then at least you can say, right, if it's like 6 months, then I know that I have 6 months to like grow this business and to like set that intention and to like really get to work to make sure at 6 months I can have my notice in. So like, set your goal here of how long you would like to be in your employment until, and make it realistic as well. You know, 3 months is quite like a small amount of time to really like go hard. Like, if you've got to create a website, do your branding, launch everything, get clients, 3 months is a small amount of time really. So it's not impossible, but I would say definitely if you have everything in place and you're ready to go now, it's probably more likely. But if you have a lot of like design or technical things to do still, then those things take time, especially if you're doing it by yourself. So accommodate for that, certainly. And another expectation is money. So money is the one thing I get asked about of, can you be a 6-figure coach in 6 months? Do I believe that? I would believe that if Oprah was endorsing you and Oprah was like personally giving you clients, yeah, I could imagine you could get a 6-figure business in 6 months. But business takes time, and any successful entrepreneur will tell you that being an overnight success or having that like 5 minutes of fame like that is not sustainable. And many companies, I don't just mean this in coaching, in every company, when you see companies really shoved into the spotlight or really like they get endorsed by a celebrity and it massively takes off overnight, they can't cope. They are not able to keep up with demand. They're not able to sustainably keep up with everything and stay afloat. They have to take on staff, they start panicking, and most companies fold because they cannot cope with the pressure. And this is why it's better to be sustainable and grow at a pace you feel comfortable with than have everything at once and panic and not be able to sustainably keep that. So I always say progress is key, growing is key, because when you can grow, and I am so grateful that I have been able to grow at a stage where I'm able to still be a part of everything, that it feels good to me, it doesn't feel like work, and I'm able to control what hours I work. It just feels good to me because it's on my terms. So really, like, you need to remember that you can absolutely set goals of what you want to earn, how much you want to earn, and how big you want your business to go. Of course you can, but be realistic that that's going to take time and that's going to take your hard work. It doesn't just happen by sitting on the sofa. It takes hard work, determination, and it takes knowledge as well. Like, learn how to use social media, learn how to be a life coach. Like, again, your qualification is everything. So here in the UK, and I know in the States as well, I'm not sure about other countries, but you don't necessarily need a life coaching qualification to coach people. But what I really want to say here is take accountability with that, because I truly believe and feel strongly about that you should go and learn this. And there are so many courses out there that don't cost the earth, that are really affordable and are really just great introductory courses of the do's, the don'ts, the codes of conduct, you know, all the professional things that you should know as a life coach of definitely what you can and can't do, because really coaching is a vulnerable practice. Yes, it's focusing on the future. Yes, it's working on goals and working towards the future. But I know myself, a lot of my spiritual coaching, we do delve into spiritual tools and practices, which can help to remove limiting blocks and beliefs. But you have to be careful with that, because you're not a counselor. That's what you have to remember. You're not a counselor. So you cannot counsel people or give, like, you know, NLP advice or things like that, hypnotherapy. Like, go and educate yourself, because I am so glad I did my courses. I did 3 in the end. I did EFT, I did a life coaching diploma, and I did a law of attraction practitioner course, because I wanted, you know, for myself more than anything to know that I could do this and to learn how to do this. Like, you can't just wing it when it's other people's money and well-being's at stake. Like, don't do things like botch jobby to just do it. Like, be responsible and accountable for your clients, because even by just doing like, you know, a really decent, affordable, you know, it doesn't have to take up loads of time course, you're going to be so grateful you did that, because you're going to know more of how to structure your sessions. You're going to know more how to, you know, the codes of conduct, the do's, the don'ts, what you can do, because at the end of the day, you do not want to be sued. So this is why it's all important. And insurance as well. I've got insurance for everything I do, because again, like, you have to cover your back. So if you don't want to insure yourself, then you can do disclosures, like disclosure agreements, which you can give to clients. But just these things are all good practices of business to cover your ass and to cover your client's ass, because at the end of the day, like, this is your reputation on the line. And if you want to be a good coach and to grow and be successful, doing these things from the get-go is good practice, definitely good practice. So insurances can be expensive. I think mine altogether are about £300 a year, but obviously that covers my entire business, not just coaching. So I have public indemnity insurance, public liability insurance, and I have another insurance which I can't remember, but those two are the most important ones. So public indemnity is when you're advising, and obviously I have to do that for my live events, I have to do that for my coaching, I have to do that for my membership, I have to do it for basically even like these videos, anything like that. Like, it covers me in case anybody is like, Emma told me to go and invest £6 million and I lost it all, which obviously I would never ever do. And you should never ever advise anybody to do anything with their money, because that's a total different qualification in itself. So not even counselors, hypnotherapists, or anybody can say that. So it just covers you against, you know, anything like that, but hopefully that will never ever happen to any of you guys or me. So these are all just really sensible things to know. And you know, as well, like, your structure of your sessions, have a plan in place. Like, when I first started coaching, you know, I was learning on the job in terms of my structure. Like, I had, you know, I knew how to help people, I knew the tools from my own experiences, and I have mentored before. I used to mentor in my old business, so that was very much business mentoring. That's why I really wanted to learn life coaching and do my qualifications. So because they were different, like, it's one thing like coaching a business, but it's one thing coaching a human being with their emotions and well-being. So I definitely felt like, no, I want to do this properly. So, you know, create yourself a structure, and the best way to do that is to, you know, work with a coach if that feels good to you. A lot of people work with me to really launch their businesses, to learn all these things, and to actually like learn my session structure, and to be able to like take bits which they love and put into their structures, and vice versa. So, you know, you don't have to do that, definitely not, but if that's something you feel called to do, then definitely that is a sensible and wise thing to do. And also, like, in terms of like pricing, of how you price yourself, this is like, again, the definitive question of how much should I charge, Emma? I can't tell you that, and no other person in this world can tell you that. Can I just clarify that? I can, like, do you know what I mean? There is obviously like sensible figures, but the things I'm going to say to you is that it has to be in alignment with you. And let me explain that. So I could say any other figure to you, any other coach in this world could give you any figure and say, you know your worth, charge this, etc. All of the ball, like I said earlier. But realistically, like, I had a lady come to me and she was petrified to share her coaching packages because they were so expensive, and she was newly qualified, no experience. And I was like, and I asked her this question, I said, would you pay for your own coaching? And she said no. And I said, there we go. If you wouldn't even pay your own prices, that's when you know you're too high, or that's when you know it's not in alignment. Like, you have to energetically sit with your pricings and think, does this feel good to me? Do I feel proud to share this with people? Is this worth my time? Because equally, you don't want to go too cheaply, but does this feel good to me? Would I pay my own prices? Ask yourself those questions, and that's how you can determine what to price yourself at. And you know, if you're newly starting out, if you haven't got any experience beforehand, but you've just newly qualified and you're newly launched, then do an introductory offer, or do something where you can grow that figure over time as your confidence grows, as your client base grows, and as your skills grow as well, because you are constantly learning on the job. I still learn things from my clients now, 2.5, 3 years on. So, you know, you're constantly evolving, you're constantly learning as a coach. So you have to be adaptable, and you have to be able to work with that and work with what your clients bring to you. And I think as well, my last tip, which I'm going to give you for what to expect when you're starting out, is to really know what type of people you want to work with. with. You've probably already done this if you've done like sort of your niche, you've worked out your niche, you've worked out who you kind of the clients you want to work with. But is that specified on your website? Because a lot of the time what I see with my clients is they'll know their ideal client, they'll know who they want to work with, but the client doesn't know that on the website. So, you know, if you really want to focus on spirituality and business coaching like I do, then you're like, if you're really against, well, not against, but do you know what I mean? If you're not comfortable with maybe coaching like divorces, or I don't know, like just pick a subject you wouldn't feel comfortable with, then, you know, you need to make sure that it is clear. So I'm not saying you have to put, I do not want to work with, like, I'm not saying that, but just make sure that it's clear that you are a spirituality and business coach and you cover X, Y, Z in your topics. So you may have separate packages, just to make it really clear, like a spiritual session, a business coaching session like I do. And obviously those are just examples. Obviously use whatever 2 words suit your niche, of course. But that, you know, it's just being clear to people, because then you're not gonna like be thrown out of the water. But obviously if you're doing discovery calls, if you're doing like initial emails with people beforehand, then hopefully you will discover with your client whether you are a good fit anyway. So I hope this video has helped you guys. Like I said, if you haven't watched my previous video as well of how to be a successful life coach, I'll link it down below, because it was filmed so long ago. I felt like I wanted to do an updated version for you guys here. So I hope this video has been really helpful and given you lots of new tips to go away and think about if you are starting your own coaching business. But of course, let me know your thoughts in the comments box down below, because I reply to them all, and if you've got any questions at all. So thank you so much guys for watching my video. I appreciate all your views and likes. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here, because I would love to see you again soon. Like I said, don't forget to leave me a comment in the comments box down below, because I reply to them all, and I will see you in my next video, which will be next week. Lots of love guys.